There's a joke that follows a certain car everywhere it goes. You've heard it. Maybe you've said it yourself. The BMW driver cuts you off, doesn't signal, and somehow, before you even see the driver's face, you already know what you're going to think. Not bad driver. Something more specific. Something with a label attached. Why does one car brand carry an entire personality profile? Why does a piece of metal and glass make people assume things about your ego, your income, your character, before you've said a single word? The answer isn't really about BMW at all. It's about something much older, hiding inside all of us. Start with this. Human brains are pattern-making machines. We didn't survive as a species by carefully analyzing every new situation from scratch. We survived by spotting patterns fast and reacting faster. See a rustle in the grass, assume danger, run. The brains that hesitated to gather more data didn't pass on their genes. That same shortcut still runs the show today, just aimed at smaller things. A car brand, a haircut, a way someone talks. Our minds crave quick categories because categories feel safe. They let us make sense of strangers in half a second, without the exhausting work of actually getting to know them. So somewhere along the way, BMW became a symbol. Not just a car, but a story we tell ourselves about the person behind the wheel. Success, aggression, arrogance. A person who thinks the rules exist for everyone else. Here's the strange part. That story didn't start with bad drivers. It started with something almost the opposite. Desire. BMW spent decades building an image around performance, precision, and status. The ultimate driving machine wasn't just a slogan, it was a promise. Buy this car, and you're not just getting transportation. You're getting an identity upgrade. And it worked. It worked so well that the car itself became shorthand for a certain kind of person. Ambitious, driven, maybe a little status-hungry. But status is a strange thing to broadcast in public. The moment something signals, "I'm doing well," it invites two very different reactions. Admiration from some, resentment from others. Nobody feels neutral about a symbol of success driving past them at a red light. And this is where the psychology gets interesting, because the hate isn't really about the car's engineering, or its safety record, or how it handles a curve. It's about what people believe the car says about its owner. Think about the last time you saw a driver do something reckless. If it was a beat-up hatchback, you probably thought, "Wow, bad driver." If it was a BMW, be honest, a slightly different thought crossed your mind. Something closer to, of course. That of course is confirmation bias doing its quiet work. Once we've decided BMW drivers are entitled, every rude lane change becomes proof. Every act of courtesy from a BMW driver, and there are plenty, gets filed away and forgotten because it doesn't fit the story we've already written. We don't remember what challenges our beliefs. We remember what confirms them. There's something else happening too, something a little more uncomfortable to admit. Watching a symbol of wealth make a mistake feels satisfying to a lot of people. It's not really about cars. It's about status and how we feel about people who seem to have more of it than us. Psychologists call this a kind of social leveling. When someone appears to be above us, seeing them stumble restores a sense of fairness, even if that fairness is imaginary. A BMW driver missing a parking spot becomes oddly entertaining, not because the mistake is unusual, but because it briefly closes the gap between them and us. And that gap matters more than we like to admit. Humans are tribal by nature. We've always organized ourselves into groups, and status has always been one of the fastest ways to sort people into one of us, or not one of us. A luxury badge on a car can quietly say, "I've made it." And depending on where someone stands in their own life, that message can feel like inspiration or like an insult. This is why the stereotype spread so easily on social media. A single video of one bad driver gets shared, laughed at, remixed into memes, and suddenly it isn't about one person anymore. It becomes evidence for a belief millions of people already wanted to have. The algorithm doesn't create the stereotype. It just feeds the part of our brain that already loves easy categories. But here's something worth sitting with. Ask any long-time BMW owner what they love about the car, and status rarely comes up first. They'll talk about how the steering feels alive in their hands, how the engine responds the instant they think about accelerating. For a lot of people, it isn't about being seen. It's about the feeling of control, precision, connection between driver and machine. There's also nostalgia tangled into all of this. For some, the BMW badge represents a childhood memory, a father's car, a poster on a bedroom wall, a dream chased for years before finally being achievable. The stereotype strips all of that away and replaces it with a punchline. So why do people keep repeating the joke anyway, even when they suspect it isn't entirely fair? Because stereotypes aren't really about accuracy. They're about efficiency. They let us feel like we understand a stranger instantly, without the uncomfortable work of nuance. And there's a quieter reward, too. Mocking a symbol of status, even jokingly, lets people feel a little superior for a moment. A small ego boost hidden inside a car meme. None of this means every criticism is unfair. Some BMW drivers do drive recklessly. Some do carry an air of entitlement. But so do drivers of pickup trucks, sports cars, and yes, ordinary sedans nobody bothers to stereotype. The difference is what the brand represents in our collective imagination. And that's really the twist hiding underneath this whole topic. This was never fully about BMW. It's about how easily we let a symbol replace a person, how quickly a badge on a hood can become a verdict on someone's character, before they've said a word, before we know a single true thing about them. Maybe the real question isn't why BMW drivers get so much hate. Maybe it's why we're all so quick to believe we understand someone, the instant we decide which tribe they belong to.